Boom, hello, and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast Season 5. Never forget that to the best of us, protection's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. Enjoy.
Boom, what's up, you guys? Here we are, another awesome episode of the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. But this is going on both. This is going on the Protector Podcast as well, because this, what we're doing here, has to do with everyone. I am joined today by an esteemed guest, Mr. Byron Beplay. How you doing, brother?
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, man. So we did a podcast way back in the day, briefly, I think. Yeah. Season 1. But I remember when I met Byron, it's like Highlander, man. It's like there can only be one. Like we might have to fight to the death. You know what I'm saying? But this guy is cool enough to where I'm like, dude, this Byron guy is cool, man. Like it's totally, it's an honor, man. So, heck yeah. We're going to talk about something that I think is a huge force multiplier for everyone, whether you're a professional protector, whether you're a mom, a family dude, whatever it is, having your own K9 either on your protection team. We know there's so many different applications for this. I've ran details where we're doing this. I got a detail coming up at a stadium where we're going to be having K9s involved. I've got it. I've worked for churches and a number of events where we've got dogs, bomb dogs, bite dogs, all that stuff in play, and it's huge. But I think there's a lesser known application for having an actual protection dog available to a family that can safely integrate to a family. So we're going to be talking about this. And as a protector, I finally am going to get my own dog. And he's going to be able to work with me and also protect my home, right? So I'm so excited, so stoked. But before we jump into all that, same way we always kick off the podcasts, Byron, who are you at your core?
Well, a philanthropist.
Who's the man work, right? Yeah, man.
A little bit about me. So I got into dogs like complete accident. I was never a military dog handler. Got into dog training, fell in love with the side of like just training, basic obedience, severe behavior mods, people who had dogs that were just not doing well, live bites, all that terrible stuff. And so I basically was like, I fell into it. I was actually going to school to become a medical professional. And literally just a few weeks before graduating, my wife looked at me and says, well, why don't you do something that you love, which turned into this. Now I've got this huge company, multiple companies that all revolve around protection to some extent, whether it be creating somebody's family pet to be a better pet and be the solution to that, which is what BTS stands for, or creating these awesome family assets that are going to protect your family or your team, whether it be military, law enforcement, family. Right. And then also training. We do like home protection seminars where we teach you how to protect your home from invaders, how to be less of a target. We do all that stuff. So we have the ballistic theory solutions side of our business, which is similar to what you do, but we do it here in Florida, teaching everybody, all those different things, whether it be shooting, concealed carry, night vision training, just basic marksmanship, long range, short range, all that kind of stuff. It turned into a passion to teach people. And I literally, we do all of our law enforcement training that we do here locally we don't charge them at all. Because in an era where they want to defund the police, right? I believe they need more funding for more training, and they don't have a budget. So you're not going to get rich off of police K9s or police training. It's just they don't have it. It's not there. So it's better for you to work with them and get them the training to make your community a safer and better place. And so I work locally here with multiple agencies, and we do it. We call it Tactical Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, we do training every single day, all day. Sometimes at night, doing night training. Actually, what we're doing this Monday evening, and teaching and helping them and helping decoy for them and all that kind of jazz.
Heck yeah, bro. So really at your core, man, you're a teacher, you're a protector, and a provider, man. That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And of course, the nonprofit, as you know, the Rescue 22.
Say it, man. What's the Rescue 22 about? They need to know.
So the Rescue 22 Foundation is a nonprofit foundation that provides service dogs with zero geographic boundaries, that provides service dogs for veterans at no cost to the veteran. So right now, VA, I was one of them that they wanted to charge me about 30, I think it was like 30, it was like 30 something $1,000 that they wanted to take from me as a full-time student for a service dog because it was classified as an elective. Went to multiple service dog foundations, found out that none of them really, they just gave you a dog. It really didn't provide you anything. Maybe it had some basic obedience. Called my dear friend up, and it thus became the Rescue 22 Foundation. And 5 years later, we're one of the #1 nonprofits for service dogs for veterans. The president is John Devine, former Navy SEAL, and it's comprised of a bunch of Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, MARSOC Marines, and our backbone, Angela Connor, who is one of the is our administrative director. She's the heartbeat of our organization, and was literally at ground zero on 9/11. So she's got quite the passion for veterans. So,
no, that's awesome. And it's funny how that works, though, man. Like, I don't know. And your wife is the same way, from what I understand, and in our conversations when we're doing stuff together. And then me and you are kind of the same way. Like we're killers, right? Like we're animals. We're out here breaking stuff and like taking territory and like going, but like, dude, you gotta have admin. It wins wars, man. Logistics wins wars, and you gotta have. I've seen some amazing females behind us, like just keeping us fed and watered and healthy, and like help us pull the whole thing off.
My own personal visits. Yeah, I mean, hats off to my wife, because I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for her brains and her ambition. Because I mean, behind every great man is an even greater woman who keeps us in check. And we may be the bronze and muscle of it, but I will definitely say they're the brains and savageness of our business. So
yeah, well, protectors need protectors, man. We were both talking about our big hearts, like we can get taken advantage of, and the female in the backfield's usually like, bruh, a lot of times. And it took us it took us forever to even schedule this thing, because I was like, dude, we should have just had our wives do this, man. We would have been, what time do I need to be there? Send my reminders. Thank you. Anyway, so here we are, man. You've provided a lot like kind of how I have. You've provided an amazing suite of assets and opportunities for people to learn, for people to get what they need, for people to upgrade their level of protection. That's super dope, man. I know there's still some people out there that want to know the infamous question: what's your background? The SHOT Show question, right?
The SHOT Show. So I spent most of my time in Ranger Battalion. Then I became a pre-CDQC instructor while I was in a part of the Rangers. I went to Ranger Training Battalion and was a pre-scuba instructor there. Got out from the military, became a defense contractor for a short amount of time, and just kind of like I have that very typical military story. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I grew up, and spent probably about 5-6 years outside of my military career until that happened.
Yeah,
I'm extremely diverse. So like I hated, and I was never I'm not a very, well, I mean, we all have egos, but it doesn't drive me. So right. Like I didn't really get along with a lot of egotistical people in our community. So that just doesn't fly with me. Mm-hmm. Your performance drives who you are, not, all this other.
Like your patches and your stuff. Yeah.
And all that stuff. Army has horrible marketing, I've always said it's like the Ranger tab. I'm having to explain the tab and the scroll, and I'm like, it's just horrible. So
meanwhile, the Navy, those guys, man, their marketing. You become a SEAL, people. Yeah, I mean, it's just, anyways. Let me not get.
SEALs got great marketing. Don't get me wrong. So, anyways, I did the Ranger thing, got out, did the defense contractor thing. It was great. But my divorce and all these other things that it's part of my story, but caused me. Yeah. And it's what caused me to get into dogs. My trials and tribulations is what has made me who I am and got me to where I'm at. Yeah. And the divorce, my debt to income ratio, flagged my clearance. So I had to move out of that, which forced me to go find a job that was of equal pay. So I went into becoming a commercial underwater welder. Became a commercial underwater welder, went offshore, worked as a hard hat diver, did all that craziness. That got Obama, thanks to Obama, he sent everything overseas. I went from making $1,200 a day to making about $15 an hour overnight, and no work. So I ended up moving out to a job offer out in Utah, which then dissolved also because of the dive industry kind of being pushed out, and went into going to college to be a medical professional. And almost all the way through that, I basically fell in love with dogs. Having a business degree and having a business background, I was able to take doing something in my backyard into turning it into a 7-figure business and building a large K9 training facility under the direction and a lot of different companies that I worked for with a lot of prestige behind them. One of which, as you guys previously know, I worked with Coastline K9. I've gone to a lot of different seminars, and I worked under a lot of great trainers, very well-known trainers in the industry, going to seminars here and there. And just getting that education, self-educating. And then I became a executive protection agent for a little while, and saw the application with dogs there. And, the rest is history, and then I became the face of BTS K9, and, I'm here to be the solution.
The solution, baby. Be the solution. I love it.
Boom. If you've been enjoying the podcast, I want to encourage you to come and train with me. Train with us, the League of Executive Protection Specialists. We offer online courses so you can train and learn how to take your executive protection career to the next level from the comfort of your own home. We offer on-ground training on everything from the hard skills of driving, shooting, medical, and into the soft skills through the Executive Protection Immersion course, which is one of the most experiential, learning-centric courses in the executive protection industry. Either way, I want you to become part of the golden standard in the private security industry and join the brotherhood, the League of Executive Protection Specialists. Go to epspecialist.com and let's do our careers together. I'll see you there. Out.
Real quick, something I want to attack. A lot of veterans watching, a lot of people watching. I really want to I want you guys to realize, what Byron's been able to do, coming out of the military and having to figure it out. This is part of the game. You know what I'm saying? This whole stigma of oh, you were in the military and you went to combat, and this whole woe is me thing. Oh no, you're going to get out and you're going to be, because it's everywhere. You see people that have, their lives they're not figuring it out, but what you don't see a lot, because these guys are working and crushing the universe, is veterans that, we all had our struggles. But I just want you guys to realize, the military community, we get some of the best training in the world. We get some of the best trials by fire, literal, in the world. When you get out in the civilian sector, it's not time to be hurt, broken. You may have quality problems. Figure them out. Get the help you need. Solve that trash the same way we would if we were back in the platoon, right? Solve.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird when you get out. They don't do it. They become a victim.
Yeah, it's what changed, bro? Don't talk to Marines about your problems. You know what I mean? What changed, homie? Figure it out. I get it. Men have been chopping each other up since the beginning of time. And they used to do it face to face, okay? So we're out now. It's your life is a blank canvas. Dude, we should be outperforming. We should be the highest performing demographic of human beings in the United States, the veteran community. So, boom, you got 2 examples right here of dudes who got out, figured it out, get to work. Work as hard for your vision, your passion, your life, your family, your tribe, as you did for Uncle Sam, right? And take all that, man, and just make something out of it. you know.
It's the biggest thing, guys, out there. It's like, if I could just,
Hammer.
man, like, you guys have got to understand, and girls, you know, you're going to be your greatest adversary, because you're going to think, I can't do it. This is too hard, whatever it may be. There's going to be days where sleepless nights and financial issues, and people are going to attack you. Oh my God. Heaven forbid, in the veteran community, let me tell you, we are our own worst enemies. You become well-known, successful, all these things. People are going to come at you and make things up and lie and bullshit stories and try to fabricate things that are completely and thoroughly untrue just to better themselves, because they're jealous and they believe that they should have what you have, but they don't want to put the work into it. Yeah. They don't want to go and sacrifice and put in the effort. And that's the thing, is like, you guys out there that may be employees of companies, I've actually fired people. I've said, when you're willing to put down hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, whatever it may be in that business, and the sacrifice and the liability and all of the scenes, then you can have and say in how I run my business, because I've gotten into where it is today. So you guys need to take control of what you have, but you need to own it and lead it in such a way, and that's where the military, like the stuff you learn in the military, you can't operate a civilian business the way we operate in the military. I can't go out, yell out off my deck out here and be like, I need a volunteer, and the last person that shows up, I'm making a bear crawl to me, or screaming at someone like, "Why the fuck isn't this shit done?" You know, it doesn't work, right? So you gotta come through with these different leadership skills that are more applicable to the civilian world, which 100%. It is challenging, because sometimes you want to go staff sergeant on someone's ass and drop that knife, but you gotta like go, hey, not everybody's from that place, so you have to work with other people, and that is sometimes a very difficult, challenging part.
That's one of the hardest ones.
Once you get through it, man, and you start, writing those notepads, get a notepad, remember the things that work, discard the things that don't. But your work ethic that you learned in the military, your ability to work sleepless nights, your ability to work through problems, because I hate to say this, but your problems that you had in the military, they're going to be just as difficult and hard. It's just a different format. You were able to accomplish and get through those. So why can't you get through these? And, sometimes it's a sacrifice. I mean, there were nights my wife and I looked at each other and like, how in the heck are we going to pay today, the electric bill next week? How are we going to get groceries? Yeah. And there were days when it was like that. True story. I literally was going to a pantry at one point. I tried to and I don't advocate this to anybody, but one of my greatest failures in life was the fact that I tried to kill myself. Mm-hmm. I lost $3.5 million ultimately because, the other person didn't do the right thing, but I didn't do the right thing by putting things on paper.
Yeah.
And that was my mistake. And I turned around and tried to off myself because I felt like such a failure to my family, and I felt like they would be better off without me. And nobody saw it coming. I didn't see it coming, and my greatest failure was that, because it spurred me into having to go to the VA, understanding, also the VA had me on a bunch of medications they weren't supposed to have me on. So it was not supposed to be on the same thing, and which caused me to get into dogs. Yeah. Because I had to go to the VA, and I was like, I can't take these meds, guys, because I work in an ER and I have to be sharp. Yeah. And they basically were like, hey guys, your only option, sir, is to take a service dog. And then that's how that all unfolded. So without that failure, I would have never been able to be where I am today within the dog community. And I had very, very strategic people that God placed in my life that got me to where I am today. And woo,
good stuff.
Just thinking about it just like gets me emotional, because you have to understand, as a veteran, I understand, like they teach us to suffer in silence. Yeah. You don't need help. If you can't, hey, dude, don't go help him. He can help himself. They're trying to teach you something that you have to learn to prepare you for combat. When you get out of the military, it's okay because that stuff, we're not in combat anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the civilian world where, hey, I don't know how to write a resume, or I don't know how to prepare a business plan, or I don't know how to propose a project to somebody and put together that thing. I had to seek out people who knew how to do that, or select college classes that taught me how to do that. You know, and just because you fail something, I hate that word failure. The only thing you'll ever hear me call as a failure is my suicide. Because everything else was a stepping stone that showed me my baseline as to what I needed to work on as a person to become better for either that other person.
Go for the next level.
That's it.
100%.
Get to that next level. You got to start looking at things instead of looking at it as a failure. You're looking at it as a baseline to where you need to be. I mean, and I'll tell you right now, dogs, oh my God, like they're going to teach you that every single day, because I may get a dog one day that's an absolute awesome and makes me look great as a dog handler. The next day I get a dog that's making me question my entire life choices as being a dog trainer. And you got to change up things because they're a living, breathing creature that have emotions, they may learn a certain way that another dog didn't learn. So you're constantly switching and all that. Maybe they don't even like you. Maybe they like another trainer and you need to work up to the dog working with you.
Yeah, dude. So much good stuff in there. So much good stuff in there, man. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, find your new fight. And if you're able to be cold, wet, hungry, sleep deprived, operate days, push. Do that in your life. Find your new fight, find your new mission, and just start hammering. That's so much good stuff in there. And get help, man. And I'm the same way, bro. I ain't smart enough to do this stuff I'd be doing. You know what I'm saying? This is team.
I got a wife that does. She's got a master's in finance. So, like, bro, negative.
You know, I ain't editing this podcast. Like, this is teams.
Right.
Dude. Anyway, send it. You guys
hammer the attributes. Understand that, you know, it's okay to hand something off to somebody. I understand it may be yours, but you need to be able to look at somebody's attributes and go, this person is good at it.
Yep.
And I have a team of 8 employees. I'm not out there training the dogs every day. Actually, most of the time it's them. I decoy dogs, and I'm now more in a management position than I am in a dog training position.
Right.
And now we have all these different personalities and all these different trainers with all these. And one person may be good at decoying. This person's good at odor. Person is good at obedience. This person is good at severe behavior modifications. My wife is great at obedience and the finance. So she runs dogs and she runs the back end and the paperwork and all that good jazz.
Heck yeah.
So, you know, highlight people's stuff because you're not going to do everything on your own.
100%. Deploy people into their strengths, man. That's how you build the team, dude. Cheat codes, lots of cheat codes in here. I hope y'all are paying attention and taking notes. So now let's get into the dogs, man. The dogs. So what would you say to, and in fact, real quick, I believe you got my guy there, the dog I'm going to be getting. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be my boy right here. This is Kono. Look at this guy. He's just a big lover.
The lover. This is Kono. Kono's got titanium teeth, as you can see. He is an absolute hammer. He's a big love bug. Me and him have a very special relationship, as you can see.
Yeah.
But don't let the looks fool you. He's super chill until otherwise told.
Yeah.
And then he'll wait. You see that right there? Look at that. So, a little bit about Kono. Kono's a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah.
You're so stupid. He's rolling over down here at my feet. Down. Oh, good boy. And so, Kono's a family protection dog. I get a lot of questions that people ask. You know, what's the difference between a military police canine and family protection dog? Good. Really, it's accessibility and sociability. And sociability is kind of like the dog's integrated with your family. It's kind of like the Kevin Hart, meme right now is like that dog bite is like, not me, like that's kind of how it is. It's all command driven. A lot of people have this idea that, oh, my dog's is already a protection dog. Well, no, it's not. If your dog is exhibiting reactive behavior, that's reactivity based on fear. Protection is a trained attribute that when you give the word to the dog, whatever that word is, it's whatever it's conditioned to. It could be potato. Its attack word could be potato, but here's that word, and it's eating the target in front of it. And then its ability to call the dog off and hopefully get the dog to return. And, and I say hopefully because if you send a dog, your dog it's a dog. And we have to understand, as much as I love this dog, it is literally been bred and trained to sacrifice itself for me, like the executive protection agents that you employ. Their job is to protect with their life that principle.
Right.
That is exactly what this is. And in many instances, dogs are able, you can't conceal everywhere, but you can conceal or not conceal. You can use a family protection dog in areas that may, especially in places like California. Now you have what we like to call a FAFO. FAFO, to fuck around and find out. Dog may bite, but I ain't going to fuck around and find out if it is or is not. So now you're lesser of a target, and people aren't. I mean, I from what I heard, you've dealt with this quite recently, where you can be fully kitted out with a gun, and people are still going to try to test you. But there's something so primal about a dog eating you that you're not going to mess with it. That just, and it's not fun. I've had it happen. I've had live bites where my middle finger was ripped off. I had to get my foot on it. It's not a fun experience. But with that, number one, ladies, dogs are what I like to call the great equalizer. You by nature are already going to be looked at as, and I hate to say this, I mean, some of you I'm scared of, but you're smaller. It's just what it is. It's physics, right? Or physiology. No, but with a dog, you're now no longer, nobody wants to mess with you because you now have something that makes you the great equalizer. That is the great equalizer. I'm not going to mess with you because that dog may jack me up, right? And my wife has, and actually my trainers actually just had one. Becky had a transient show up on her front door where she was like, I almost had to use her dog, like, get the heck out of here, right? Like out of nowhere. So they're one, that's the number one. It will prevent things from eventually happening. Number two, do happen, you now have an ability to send dog and egress.
Yeah. That's huge. So real quick on number one, man, your deterrence value, it lowers your threat profile. You guys got to think about things the way that the enemies or adversaries or predators think about it is, I'm looking for a target that is an easy target. You got to remember that the enemy has to solve equations too. Like, how can I do what I need to do without taking damage, without getting caught, without leaving DNA everywhere because I got bit by some crazy dog? Have I ever fought a dog? What was my last experience with dogs? My homies were just getting eaten up by these dogs that the cops had. Like, so, and yeah, man, I've been in situations where I'm in full kit. Dudes are still looking me up and down like, you ain't gonna shoot me. You know what I mean? But then when you have a dog, it's like, but they might let the dog eat me.
It just, a dog is a less than lethal. A dog is still classified as less than lethal. And I'll tell you right now, dog bites, they're not fun, and they can leave some serious damage. And with that, they're not a liability if the dog is trained correctly and it's all command driven, and you stay on top of that training. Because guess what? Having a dog is no different than having a concealed carry. I mean, if you guys follow us or you follow some of these other dog training businesses that do similar things to us, because there's a lot of, and caveat, there's a lot of great businesses out there and there's a lot of bad businesses out there. So be careful who you go through and do a lot of research on getting a family protection dog before you do it. And and whether you go with us or whether you don't go with us, we're going to educate you on
what to look
what
for.
you should be looking for with that dog. Because people I like to call load the dog, make the dog look really great on camera for you, but when you get it, and I actually got told this by a client. I said, unfortunately, my edge in this business is my transparency and honesty. And for me, I don't do a lot of showy big stuff because actually the Ballistic Theory Solutions motto is basically discretion. We are discreet security solutions for a dangerous and uncertain time. Perfect. And I don't run around showing, hey, look, guys, look what's underneath my shirt. I've got a gun. I don't need to go around and show that to everybody or show all my client dogs or what's going on. That's not what I'm trying to do. My performance and my dogs will speak for themselves and my customer service.
So what would you go ahead?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm a long answer guy too, man. It's all good stuff, man. Real quick. Yeah. Violence. We use the tool of violence to change behavior. How long do you fire? How much violence is necessary? Well, if someone's coming at me with a gun, I need to change that behavior. That's the way you write it in the police report. That's the way you say it from the stand. That's what we do, right? Dog's going to change behavior real quick. But so having a dog with these capabilities for family integration, I know the questions floating around in people's minds. I've got young kids. Can a dog with these capabilities or with this tactical training, we'll just call it, integrate with my family and be safe?
Absolutely. 100%. Now, there is a lifestyle change to some extent. There are going to be rules that are in place and that you as a parent, I have 4 children ranging from the ages of 13 down to almost 3. She's a little over 2.5. Mm-hmm. And guys, you have to be a parent. So if a dog's eating, don't let your children go up mess with the dog while it's eating, because the dog is going to do what the dog is going to do. It's going to warn. Just because the dog growls, that's just a precursor to what the dog is going to do next, which is natural. That does not mean that that's a bad dog. That means that you're not being a good parent by teaching your children to leave dogs alone when they're eating. Right. Now, there are things that are behavioral problems when they start to resource guard. That is a form of resource guarding. Yes, that needs to be addressed with the dog as well. I'm not saying that the dog should be doing that either, but for the safety of the children, dogs are primal creatures that need correction as well. But a human has a better cognitive level, and I can now teach my child something that all children should know. We shouldn't just run up to dogs and touch them. We should never stick our faces in our dog's face unless we have that relationship with that dog. Odin, I can do that with Kono, but if you ever saw me out on my training floor, I'm never letting dogs get in my face. I'm turning my head away because, things of aggression with the dog are eyeballs staring at the dog. Things of that nature. And the dog can understand and construe this behavior with children and other adults and think that it's point of aggression. And we actually train some of this stuff in some of these protection dogs. But is it something that your family can integrate and live with? Absolutely. We've got tons of clients across the board that have family protection dogs. But just like I said before, train it. You do not expect what you do not train.
Right. Good to go. So for the mom or the dad, as a protection guy, I am working a lot. I want something, obviously, the wife's got CCWs and we got all kinds of stuff, right? But having another being around that can keep my family safe, being this dog and being around kids and different things like that, I know that there's some worry there about the dog being able to be safe around kids. And you're saying that is definitely something that you guys have achieved and something that is definitely a cornerstone of having a family protection dog.
And that is what a family protection dog is. A family protection dog is one that is able to be integrated into a family successfully with the kids, with the family. With the fear comes from what the dog is capable of. But that is a driven, if a company is teaching their dog protection strictly in defense, then it's going to look at the whole world as a target. include children who are wiry and quick, and they're running around and making funny noises and squeaks and squeals. So now the dog looks at it as prey, right? You don't want that. And yeah, there are certain things like, hey, my son comes out with the big freaking ball chucker thing, the one that shoots things, and he's shooting at his buddy, or little balls. I may have to go put the dog up.
Yeah.
Because that's probably advantageous, because my dog's been trained around gunfire. My dog's trained around, hey, this is not a good thing. And someone starts shooting something at my son in a Nerf war, and Odin doesn't like it.
Yeah.
He can shoot that person. Whose fault is that? Is it the dog's fault because he was trained in that? Or is it the handler's fault and the family's fault for not putting the dog up?
Yeah. Good to go.
You can't ask, have your cake and eat it too. That's not the way it works. Or I want to take my dog to certain things, like, hey, if I get attacked, my dog's going to protect me. Like, someone grabs me like this, and my dog goes, oh, I've seen this picture before, and it nukes you. Oops, sorry. See, the dog reacts to that. So it wouldn't be advantageous to take the dog to a jujitsu gym where it's laying off the side, and all of a sudden, mom who's training jujitsu is getting freaking
slammed,
thrown across the floor. That's not going to end
well. Good to go. Yeah. So there's some awareness there. And when you guys do integrate dogs into families, how do you make sure that the families are aware? What's the protocol for that look like?
So there's a 5-day training course that comes with all of our dogs. So we actually come with you. If you have the ability to stay in your home, we usually like to stay in your home. If you don't, we get a hotel, but we get there every day. We usually, the first half of it, we integrate, and then we take the dog with us. Usually by Wednesday, the dog will have its first overnight. And we try to stay as long as we can. We've gone longer, just depending on families and dynamics. Things happen where, things are slower or faster, but for at least 5 days, we're there teaching you. We go through all the handler scenarios. So whether it's family protection in the home, assault on, like, at a gas station, carjacking scenarios, muggings, different things of that nature. I'm going on a run. We want to see your lifestyle. And we also try to get that dog, and we try to match dog to the owner's desires and their lifestyle. So if you have a very active lifestyle, I'm not going to give you a very sedentary dog, a lower drive dog. I'm going to give you a high active dog. If I'm going to give you a dog that is you're a lower drive, and we're going to introduce you to one now she's not a Kono, but she will do the same thing as Kono, but she's a little calmer. So she's better for maybe 100-pound woman, or a 13-year-old girl. Like, hey, I want my daughter to have her first dog, but I also wanted to protect her. Okay, cool. Well, you don't want a FAFO that's not going to perform, but this one is a FAFO that will perform,
right,
if provoked and put in that scenario.
Right.
And then all that gauges price. So obviously, higher the drive, the more applicable the dog, or the more skills and tasks the dog can train,
right,
the more expensive the dog. The lower drive doesn't mean that it's a lesser quality dog. It just means it's very specific, and it's not going to be.
It's like matching the weapon to the person. It's like, hey, what do let me look at your hand size. Let me look at your structure. Let me look at, what kind of handgun's really going to work well for you. Let's shoot a couple and let's see what let me look at your carry, how you're going to carry this weapon. What's your physical build? Then that's going to determine the size and what I give you.
And so actually caveating on what you just said, and this doesn't really change. So like one of the things that we've been advocating is for EP companies, executive protection companies, to start picking these up, because some clients, some principals don't want to have the hair, the dog, and they don't want the responsibility of the vet bills, the food, the feeding, all the things. That's not what they want. They just want, they hire a company to be able to have that dog there, and then it leaves when they don't need it. So, having a dog that maybe even multi-purpose in your company that can do both protection and odor. Odor is anything from narcotics to explosives.
Right.
Most of the time with executive protection agencies, they're wanting dogs that are on explosives for obvious reasons. Those are the threats. And things. So, and then, you know, it's so a
Yeah, I mean it's kind of, yeah, 100%. What was so let's so we're gonna introduce another dog to you guys here pretty soon. Let's see. I know there are more questions people are gonna have about. Do you have any case studies or stories where dogs have protected folks that you've sold them?
So, well, yes, but they're not with our company. But the dog that was given to these people, I don't remember their exact location where they were, somewhere up north, one of those liberal states.
Yep.
I think the housekeeper left the gate open. The dog was around the corner. The child was playing in a sandbox, and some guy was, with the intent of stealing, raping, and harming this child, tried to steal the child out of the backyard. Dog came around the corner and laced the guy up. Got, obviously the child ran away. The mother went inside to the kitchen for a brief moment, and you know, basically the dog held the assailant till the police arrived, and apparently the guy was like high as a kite, and openly admitted to what he was going to do. We had one up in North Carolina where somebody was messing around with the owner, and the guy was like, "Your dog won't do shit," and he was coming at her, and she turned him on, which is the prereq to the bite, which was the dog putting the dog into a watch situation where the dog is like, whoop, 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 whoop. The guy was like, "Oh, I don't really want to mess around and find out if this dog's going to do something," because it was just a simple word that she launched. And the dog that they backed off. And just recently with my company, I'll go in. Gentlemen in your neck of the woods had and your client dogs. Yeah. The guy tried to get in through the window and hooked his ass up. So he, you know, basically, you know, was able to deter the people from coming out. And he's definitely a target because he deals with high amounts of cash, and he's moving it everywhere. So, you know, unfortunately, you know, people are what they are, and usually those threats come from within. Yep. And this dog heard the guy trying to come in and came around and hooked them up. So that was actually the most recent. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because as I'm talking these through, so
yeah, man, no, 100%. That's awesome, and it's just good for people to understand the applications, man. The deterrence is huge. You're at gas stations. Another huge instance, because I've been generating. I'm going to come out with a civilian protector course. And I'm looking at different scenarios, you know, gas stations being a huge one. They're like watering holes for the, you know, but like the mom putting kids in the car seats. It's like, it's just the best time, you know, like the mom's got her head in the car seat, the kid's like fighting her with a toy. Like that is a target of opportunity, right? And so there's things you can do, you think bad, position your vehicle, but if you have a protection dog with you, now you've got someone to watch your back. Now you've got something to sound off. And now you've got something that can actually protect you in this moment when you're just organically vulnerable. It takes nothing for someone to keep an eye on you and wait till you come back out to your vehicle with your too many kids and your too many groceries, you know, while you try to do life. So,
you're already vulnerable,
right.
And it's a prime, and we actually have trained this. We have actually done this, you know, Kono's great at it. And you know, like it's one of those things for you women that you gotta keep you can't always, the entire reason why we have executive protection agents is because we are this all the time as a businessman. So I don't have the time. If I'm running businesses and I'm on a phone call, I'm over here, I have someone with the ability when I'm already a target, and that's their head's on a swivel. The same concept is with the dog. Now, that doesn't mean you can't keep your head on a swivel, because you do need to be an advocate for your animal, because you never know. People are stupid, and you can do not pet all over this dog, and people are still going to come up and reach for that dog. And the dog's like, and it's weird because people have this conception that all dogs got to be cool humans.
Yeah.
Not cool with certain people. Hey, hell, I hate half the people I meet. So,
right.
That's why I love dogs. So why do we expect our dogs to like everyone it meets or every dog it meets? It's not going to. It's an unfair expectation of our animal. So we need to be an advocate for that and know the animal and know the behavior, which is where that 5-day education comes in, where we teach you, this is what you need to look for. It takes about 90 days from family protection or EP agent to really begin that, where it's just like I'm not even kidding. All of our clients have all called me at 90 days. And they're like, I don't know what it is, but it's like 90 days is that magical number where you guys are just clicking at the team. You're looking at your dog, you're like, yep, Roger that. We're leaving. Like he's just done with the day. Yeah, and they get done too. They're like, I'm done with the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm annoyed. Or this person's annoying the dog. You're like, hey, can you step back? Like, that's another big thing. It's like it's an excuse for you to go, hey, my dog is here for me. I need you to take a step back. Now, what does that do?
Oh yeah, you get space, man. That's what you need.
That's giving me distance.
Well, dude, let's meet. What was the other dog that you got that's top of the roster right now, just in case somebody wants to take a look at her? Trying to take pictures with dogs is always a thing.
No. So this here is Charlie, and Charlie is a female. She sees Kono over here, so she's like trying to get to the kennel. Kono females.
Kono what?
No, yeah, Kono loves him some females.
I bet he does. Anyway, so Charlie, man, tell me about Charlie. So you're saying every dog's a little bit different. Some's a little more gas, a little more bread.
Right. So she is a GSD. She is a German Shepherd, female, and she is the sweetest little girl. But she's smaller, so she's not as big. So she is, she's not as high amped. If everybody knows like Belgian Malinois, they're kind of like they're German Shepherd and crack. Yeah, they're like always on. Yeah. So Charlie is, a little bit calmer. Yeah. And she's just a little bit smaller, and she's not as just like strong, right? She's strong, but she's still going to hook up a dude or anybody else, and it's still going to get the job done. She's just not 95 pounds. She's 55 or 65 pounds.
Okay. Good to go. Good dog for what type of owner?
I mean, really anybody who wants a GSD or, she was operated by a 13-year-old before. So, so very, very, very easy, very, very simple, dog to operate. Yeah. Lighter weight. She's not going to rip you over. She's, just a very loving, sweet dog that's not 95 pounds going to drag you across the road.
Yeah. And her capabilities are like disciplined by like, what is she?
Yeah. So it's just same thing, family protection. Has the ability to do all those things. It's really about intimidation. Okay. So and intimidation, by that I mean the owner. So whoever decides the dog, they're scared of a Belgian Malinois.
Right.
The size, the muscularness, all that stuff. Maybe the titanium teeth is too much for them. She's just a different breed with a different temperament that will help give the owner confidence that they're going to be protected, but less intimidated by the breed or the dog itself. In the sense that she's just a big sweetheart, and the mentality of, oh my God, Navy SEAL dog took down Baghdadi, or Delta Force dog that took down Baghdadi type animal, and that's it. I mean, she's just, but she's always tuned in and turned on just like everybody. Just all like all the other dogs. I mean, that's what she's sitting there staring, hanging out.
bred and trained to do. But really what you're saying is for the sake of the owner. So like, I've got a 140 pound Conde Corso run around the house, and like not everyone can have that dog. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a dude in your house, basically. I mean, like when you got to tell him to do something and he doesn't necessarily want to do something, like you got to know who you are. You got to get a 140 pound dude with teeth to do what you want him to do. So
right. Exactly it. And for the right dog, for the right person, for the right job.
100%.
And it's like, I'm not going to walk around. We're not going to go around and say, have a good life. Here's your dog. Get back on the airplane and fly away, or hand you some sort of owner's manual and go figure it out. Yeah. We're going to work you through those scenarios. We're going to work bite work. We're going to actually catch the dog. You're going to actually send the dog on me.
This is awesome.
We're going to teach you how to be confident in those situations. And then we always ask you, like, hey, look, every 90 days to 6 months, we need to either link you up with a decoy and a trainer, or you need to come here or whatever. And that's kind of why I picked this location. Well, one, this is where I'm at. Number two, it's kind of a destination location. Yep. So it's like, hey, you want to go on a vacation? Come here to Destin, Florida, and we'll freshen up your dog, get you some reps, and you can go beachside every day by noon, or whatever time you guys want to schedule it. And we can do this every single day for the duration of your training, and, whatever. Or you want to do a 30-day board and train, whatever. And then we also do, if you're local and you buy a dog, we do free boarding for the life of the dog. So they need to go out of town and they just can't take the dog, or they're going to a country where it's just not acceptable to have dogs. Mm-hmm. There are those situations, a lot of Middle Eastern countries are
not having it.
Yeah, they're not having it. Or you're going to a country that it may turn into lunch, but
yeah,
you gotta take all that into consideration.
Heck yeah, man. So she's at the top of the list right now. You guys just got her through training. She's ready to rock.
2 years old.
And then what was that last piece?
She's 2 years old.
2 years old, lots of life left. That's awesome, man. And then, what I've seen too, as we get to the tail end of this thing. So in the executive protection format, right? Residential security is huge. I've got clients with properties that are monstrous. We have dogs there on property that were constantly in use. So if you're on a residential team and you're looking for a good dog, that can be a huge asset in terms of awareness and capabilities and deterrence and all those things, man, this is an awesome way to go. If you're venues, man, lots of venues in terms of making the venue safe, bomb sweeps, all that stuff, but also in terms of deterrence at the venue. So when everyone's coming into the venue and they see your guys standing there in whatever you're wearing, one guy with a dog goes a long way in terms of everyone acting right while they're inside that venue.
It's fixes crazy. A lot. It changes the entire dynamic. It really does. I have literally been on a detail, and this was it? I can't remember. It was like maybe a year or two ago. I can't remember if it was pre-COVID or just after COVID. But we were on a detail, and everything was wild. Like everything was, and I showed up with Odin, and all the dudes were like, the entire demeanor of the entire venue changed. Everyone was like,
we're good.
What's the dog? And then people start asking, what's the dog here for? And they're like, anyone who gets out of hand. And they were just like, oh, damn. Okay, cool. Kind of funny. They like walked through the crowd and it was just like parting the Red Sea,
100%. I love it, man. And then for, everyday life, we've kind of talked about it, but the applications are endless. You're asleep, dogs downstairs protecting the house. You know what I mean? Like you're going out in public, you got kids, you're a man like me and you want to leave and you have to leave your family from time to time on the daily. Man, get a protection dog, integrate that dog with the family, and the level of safety in your home has increased. So, dude, this is good stuff, man. I love it.
Back right off your business as well, because they're classified as security.
Ah, nice. I love it, man. So I can't wait to get Kono over here, man. We're looking forward to this. The second I get this move done, it's on. And the other dog's name again?
This is Charlie.
Charlie, I'm sure we're gonna get a good home going for Charlie. Sure, that's gonna happen here in a minute.
More people around you gives me more of an excuse to come out and us to do more of these.
Yeah, man, 100%. And then we'll make you guys keep your eyes peeled, because I'm gonna make a whole series of integrating Kono into my family as well. Once Byron comes out here and we start working together on that, and then I'm sure you guys will see him in the content, and he'll be like our master.
And I would like, what's going to be neat is like in the future, we're going to do some stuff with women and showing, and get his beautiful wife to do some work with it. And we'll probably get Elena, my wife. I mean, my wife operates Kono. She's 100 pounds, 5 foot nothing. You've met her. And literally she's 5 foot nothing. She's literally 5 foot 100 pounds, and she operates these dogs no problem, with confidence and vigor, and the ability to employ these dogs in a correct, efficient manner. And those are all things that when we do implement these dogs into your family, we work those situations with mom, and we try to induce stress for you. And we'll try to get that going. Like you got the kids. Hey, what do you do when someone comes in? Dog goes out the right side of the car. You grab the kids out the other side of the car, and you start to egress. At this point, you're trying to pull out your pistol to protect yourself in case, whatever happens. Like, these are all things that you have to take into consideration, because remember, people, whether it's your firearms training, whether it's dog handling skills, if you don't train it, you cannot expect what you don't inspect.
Yeah.
So you cannot expect what you don't train.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love it, man. What is the hardest lesson you've learned while in this game, training, dealing with dogs and protection?
Hardest lesson, man, a lot of them. Patience is number one. Learning just utter patience, and don't be so quick to give up on something, on a dog, because sometimes they may be going through something just like a human, and they come out and they just show up that day and stay showed up for the rest of whatever. And that's kind of
that's the hardest lesson.
That's the hardest lesson and the biggest lesson, because you don't want to give up too soon on a dog. So patience, and then
dogs are better than humans.
Yeah, like you gotta try. I mean, I would have to say the hardest lesson, I would say, in business in general is put everything in writing, and always do the hard right over the easy wrong, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to make a lot over the past few years. I've had to make a lot of hard rights that, but they were the best thing for my business, my family, and the future of it.
Heck yeah. Proudest moment in this game.
Proudest moment was the grand opening of this facility. And basically, it's really every single time I do a dog turnover and seeing a client being just absolutely happy and enthralled, and continuing to hear their success, and being able to be a part of that, and their family with their dog and their animal and all that.
Heck yeah, man. Because you stay connected to them. They're not just like on their own.
Right. We don't just shut off communication. We monthly communication with just about every one of our clients, and checking in on them with all the issues, and if they have any, because things happen. Dogs change. They have emotions just like all of us. So, we have to, stay on top of that. And we have to remember that, the people who own these dogs aren't the dog trainers. We are. So
right.
We have, go ahead and
get a dog and a trainer when you buy a dog from you guys. That's awesome. Absolutely. Okay, so how would you like to be remembered when it's all over, all said and done, Byron? What's it all for?
The people, my community, creating a safer community, keeping veterans above ground, and making veterans see and understand that though it doesn't seem like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but it took me 7 years to get where I'm at. 8 years.
Yep.
And
yep.
I that patience and understanding that, hey, making a permanent solution, i.e. suicide, is not the answer to a very temporary problem. and there's a whole new adventure in your life that all you have to do is seek it and pursue it, and pursue it with purpose and vigor. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And finding that purpose again, whether it be working for an organization, a job, whatever it is, you know, be a good above all else. Like when it comes down to it, be a good leader. Do the things that you know are right. And if you're failing in an area and you're not good at something, there's nothing wrong with seeking out life coaches and other people to help you through those things. There's nothing wrong with it, to help you become a better businessman, a husband, a father, a wife, a business partner.
Everything you can think of. You're not a specialist in any of these things. I mean, like, you should literally be like, I need to learn this thing, like whatever it is, cooking, everything. Like you should be like, I'm going to seek out the best people in this, and I'm going to learn everything I can.
Right. And accept critiques, and remember the AARs, man. Yeah, you know, four improves and four sustains. Like if homie comes to you like, Byron, you're really sucking at communication, or your business sucks at this, don't take offense to it. Fix it.
Really? How? What am I doing wrong? Like, and then have a conversation like, wait, okay, so what you got, man? What you see, dude? And that's it.
Right. That's it.
And he'll give you
don't get mad at homie. Don't make excuses, or don't discard what they think or feel.
That information
like,
is the most important info.
Physical changes, and don't make up bull crap for yourself and excuses so that you can, you know what? I don't know. That was I like you said, I'm a long answer guy.
Dude, I'm the same way. No, but yeah, don't make excuses so you feel better. Like, forget your feelings, bro. If they got some vulnerability that you're showcasing, that conversation of them telling you how you're messed up is the most important conversation you're probably going to have all week. So, no, I love it, dude. People that want to get protection dogs, where do they find you? How do we do it? What's up?
So you either go to the website, which is btsk9.com, or you can call, oh my goodness, I don't even know my new number, but I'll give you my number, 428 or 850-428-0121. Again, that's 850-428-0121.
Awesome, man. Good to go, man. No, these dogs, the value's there. They're not cheap, but the value is there. It's a whole entire upgrade to your lifestyle. And it makes your whole lifestyle safer. I can't advocate for it enough. I'm obviously all in on one, and I've just seen the utility in a professional protection format and also around some of the families we protect. So, guys, that's awesome. Byron, man, you're a savage. I'm so proud of you, man. I mean, going 3 mil deep and coming back, much love and respect. I understand that, you know, like we shoulder these burdens, we take these calculated risks. That's a war zone, man, business. You know, so good on you, bro. Much love and respect. Looking forward to everything, man. Heck yeah. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys. And I really appreciate all that you do for the community. And, you know, it's so vital for our community to start becoming advocate protectors of themselves, especially in this era where, you know, we can't expect no one's coming. And, you know, the illustrious words of 30 seconds out, you know, no one's coming.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself to do your
damage, man. Fight your fight.
Yeah, what you got to do.
Heck yeah. Love it, brother. Awesome.
Boom! Quick shout out to our sponsor, Staccato. My first pistol sponsor. I've been sponsored by a lot of companies, right, over the years. But when it comes to pistol, that's my bread and butter. Pistol is something I believe in. You know, I'm a competitive shooter. You know, we're shooting anywhere from, 800 rounds a month type of thing, right? So Staccato, being what I believe, is one of, if not the most complete handguns you can put in your hand. It's got every component that a handgun could have, should have. They're actually extremely dependable now that they've made some changes, and these things are straight up tack drivers. If you're looking for a pistol that will do as much of the work for you as a piece of hardware can, obviously you have to have the marksmanship and all the different things, but different guns perform at different levels. And I want to say that Staccato is one of By far, for sure, take it from a competitive shooter, we're shooting the highest volumes of rounds constantly right now. Not used to have a background guy, but like right now, when you go shoot, you're gonna see certain brands. Staccato is one of, if not the highest performing firearm that is both CCW, duty ready, and also competitive ready. So I want to give them a shout out. If you guys are looking for a good handgun to build your skills on top of, go check out Staccato. Much love and respect. Yo, if you're a private security professional wanting to take your game to the next level, go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to check out my personal success package for private security professionals. Check it out, executiveprotectiontrainingday.com. And remember, y'all, hard skills do save lives, but soft skills get you paid. Boom. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry, and also to making America a safer place. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can, because it makes all of these things possible. Thanks for those contributions.